spent in a miserable way.
U.S. News: Congress braces for Trump diverting military construction money to build the wall of Western Australia. Congress is bracing for President Trump to target the nation's military construction budget to build his U.S.-Mexico border wall, including money aimed at bolstering European defenses against Russian aggression. This money would become available to Trump if he declared a national emergency to circumvent the gridlocked Congress and use the military to build his wall. An emergency hundreds of projects could be at risk of losing their funding to Trump's wall, including $1 in a news $800 million in the presence in Eastern Europe. The money dramatically out of touch the president is, said Rev. Chevy Wasserman. Dan Sullivan asked, "It's going to be a lot of tough questions by armed services members about where's the money coming from, what projects is it coming out of," said Senior Tim Kaine. Diverting. Trump is pushing Congress to give him $5.7 billion to build more than 200 new miles of walls along the southern border. U.S. taxpayer funds, despite his repeated promise that Mexico would pay for the wall. Democrats oppose. The stopgap bill expires February the 15th, leaving Congress less than 2 weeks to come up with a solution that could satisfy both the President and Democrats. A bipartisan, a number of Republican lawmakers are wary about that approach for various reasons, including the precedent that would be set for a future Democratic president and the possibility that they might have to vote on a disapproval resolution aimed at overturning the emergency declaration. An emergency but the possibility that Trump could tap into and spend military construction or Army Corps of Engineers funds another potential pot of money available to him under a national emergency declaration has raised a new set of concerns, with lawmakers lobbying the president directly to try to ensure that their priorities are not touched. After reports emerged that, under an emergency declaration, Trump could pull wall money from flood control projects funded by the Corps after recent hurricanes, lawmakers voiced objections. Senior. Now, the potential for the military construction budget to be used for the wall has led lawmakers to seek similar assurances. Republican and Senate Armed Services Chairman James M. Inhofe said Monday that I already had a conversation with him, and I am opposed to tapping MilCon funding. There are other Corps of soon minimum Kim contributed to this report. You are now subscribed to. Please enter a valid email address. You might also like.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.